everyone, and welcome back to part 5 of Narutovember. We are on the 5th and final main arc of the first Naruto series. So this is the Sasuke rescue mission arc. Yes, this means something happens to Sasuke and they have to go try and save his butt. So in the previous arc, they went off, Naruto and Jiraiya went off to find
Lady Tsunade.
So they have a new Hokage now. Things are kind of starting to be put back into place in the Leaf Village because it was all kind of wrecked by Orochimaru. Sasuke is basically going through some emotional turmoil right now,
and he feels that Naruto has passed him, and he wants this. He wants power to be able to do it, and he doesn't feel that he's getting it.
And he's thinking, if I can't even beat Naruto, how the hell am I ever gonna beat my brother Itachi? The angst, man. The angst. You'd never really liked him that much to begin with, right?
No, I thought he was always a jerk. He definitely didn't fit in, but he wasn't, completely unlikable. And now with like everything that's going on with his brother and his behavior's changing, and he's becoming more focused again.
He's like hell-bent on revenge right now, but like he can't do it unless he's strong enough. And so that's kind of like the biggest kind of hurdle he's trying to face right now. A lot of this kind of manifests itself in the relationship he has with Naruto, who up to this point had kind of started to become like sort of like a brotherly bond in a love-hate kind of way. After Sasuke recovers in the hospital after kind of being tortured by his older brother, he challenges Naruto to a fight. They're going all out, they're throwing punches, they're kind of being kind of reckless and dangerous with this fight, right? And what's Sakura doing?
Crying over both of them. Well, crying over Sasuke.
She's mostly crying over Sasuke, but like she's crying over both. Like, she's softened on Naruto. She likes him. She just that kind of stands like, oh, please don't fight. I don't want to see you get hurt. I can't stop you because I'm useless.
Sasuke goes to use the Chidori. Naruto goes to use the Rasengan.
Why would they do that? That's so stupid. Like, I get it, they're both like really fiery and they want to win and they're trying to like give it their all, but it'd be like if
like both of those attacks kill.
I know, that'd be like if me and you got into like a sparring match and then
somebody pulled out a knife.
We both pulled out a knife. My goodness, boys, calm down, boys. I think Sasuke went into it thinking that he was just gonna like completely destroy Naruto, like he was just gonna win it. Right? And that's not what happens at all. Like, Naruto holds his own against it. They go like blow for blow, right? Toe to toe the whole time, which is why I kind of escalated to that point. And Sasuke's really frustrated by it because he's like, God, I can't beat him. Like, why am I not better than him? I should be so much better than him. Like, he has just this massive superiority complex. Naruto doesn't have a superiority complex, but he doesn't have an inferiority complex. And he just wants Sasuke to recognize him as an equal, as someone that's on the same level as him. It's frustrating for both of them, but it's especially frustrating for Sasuke because Sasuke's whole thing is that he needs to kill someone that's way stronger than he is. He ends up kind of deciding to go seek out Orochimaru.
That's kind of where I really have the break with Sasuke. Like, why you have people around you that care about you, you have people that are willing to help you achieve that goal. Why would you seek the easy way out?
I get that's where he was going and that's where he had to go, but it felt like kind of a betrayal because like up to the first 3 arcs he was like making progress. This just feels like a massive regression all of a sudden.
Right.
And I think a lot of that is spurred because like his brother Itachi shows up and all of a sudden he's like, oh God.
It almost forgot about it. And then when his brother actually shows up, it brings back all of the drive and determination that he had.
I don't like kind of the weird arc they took him because it felt like his arc kind of went like up and then down and up and it was just kind of all over the place. Naruto's arc has been remarkably just like Sakura's arc, I don't know because I don't.
It's in the ocean.
It's at the bottom of the ocean.
At the bottom of the ocean
somewhere. That's lost at sea. These henchmen ninja for Orochimaru, they show up to grab Sasuke and they haul him off out of the village. Sakura tries her best to talk him out of it, to try and stop him. She's frustrating with this because she's just like completely emotionally bent out of shape. And it's just like, but why? He's been so mean to you the whole time.
He doesn't care about you one bit.
It's almost like watching the definition of an abusive relationship. He's mean to her and he's rude to her and he takes advantage of her and he calls her weak and she just cries over him so much. If the roles were reversed and it was Naruto that decided to go off, she would not cry like this over him. She'd still be upset, but she would not cry to the same degree. She's so frustrating, God. So they have to form a mission to go rescue Sasuke because they have to bring him back. Like, he's one of their own. They can't just let him go to Orochimaru.
Although they think at this time he's probably been kidnapped.
I think that they know that he voluntarily went, but they still think he can be saved. They don't like think he's too far gone. We have Shikamaru, Neji, Choji, Kiba, and of course Naruto, because Naruto has to go save his best friend. Shikamaru is the leader of this team because going back to the events of the Chunin exams, there seemed to be a unanimous decision among all of the ninjas. Is like, well, that Shikamaru guy,
he's got something.
He's special. So Shikamaru actually gets promoted to a Chunin. Of all the ninja, I'm sure he's the one that least wanted it.
Right. It's too much work.
Being a Chunin is so troublesome. It's
troublesome.
So he picks Neji for the Byakugan to help them track. He picks Kiba for Kiba's smelling and his senses to help him track him down. And then he picks Choji because Choji seems like a weird pick at first. But then we come to find out that him and Choji are like best friends. They've been best friends since they were kids.
And they work just really, really well together.
So there's the 4 henchmen of Orochimaru and then Sasuke, who they've like holed up in a bucket.
They put him into a barrel.
He has to ferment, I guess. If you do the math, there's 5 people on the Leaf Village team, and then there's 5 ninjas, counting Sasuke, that are running to Orochimaru. It ends up being Choji versus the fat
rock dude.
The fat rock ginger ninja that likes to eat chakra.
It's fat guy versus fat guy.
And you're thinking, like, we haven't seen Choji do anything impressive up to this point.
No, he turns into a ball and rolls into a wall. Like,
that's about all
that's all he's ever done.
And of course, all these other ninjas that are fighting are really strong. They're really overpowering ninja. And they all have curse marks too, so they can kind of activate them to get like
extra power.
But Choji has a trick up his sleeve as well. He has these
food pills.
It's like taking adrenaline, basically. Like really souped up high-powered adrenaline.
It was like Popeye. Well, and his first pill was a spinach pill.
So he ends up taking these pills, and each time they give him more and more power.
But they also damage his body more.
Yeah, they have more detrimental side effects. It's just basically a battle of brute strength versus brute strength, right? Just 2 like bruisers punching each other really hard.
So the curse mark can actually get activated twice.
Yeah, so the first stage they just kind of get tattooed up, and the second stage they like turn into like demons. He ends up getting pushed to that stage, and Choji has no choice but to take the last pill. This arc is all about like, kind of each of the ninjas like having to make the ultimate sacrifice.
Right, and pushing themselves to the limit.
So it makes sense why Choji's been eating all the time now, because it's not just because he's a fat kid.
It's an extra energy reserve that they can use in times of need.
Choji was scary in that moment.
Oh, he was very scary.
He could have wrecked anybody. Shikamaru knew that he took the pill because he could kind of like almost sense his life force fading. But that's where we left it, because like we're still chasing Sasuke. And that was kind of the brilliance of this arc, is that like we didn't have time to dwell on what was happening. They had to keep going because their mission was to save Sasuke. So the next fight was Neji versus
Spider Dude.
The creepy Spider Dude, your favorite one. You love spiders so much.
So I'm totally arachnophobic. I hated this fight. Not because it was a bad fight. I hate spiders, so I had trouble watching this fight.
He had a summon, and his summon was a giant spider. And the guy, he could like make like spider web stuff to like encase them in. But Neji could fight him because he had of his special palm fist attack where he like infuses his palms with chakra, and he could cut the webs. And you knew this would be a good fight too, because Neji is I think he was the most capable ninja of the group. Obviously the other guy is no slouch himself. He's got some curse mark. He's gonna turn into a demon, probably some kind of spider demon.
Spider demons.
Spider demon. So it was kind of a battle of like a close combat fighter trying to figure out how to get close to this guy that fights from a distance. And what's really scary is that even though he was a really capable fighter, he was still getting overwhelmed. Like eventually the other guy figured out his weaknesses, he figured out how to slow down his defense, and then he was able to get to Neji. And Neji got pretty messed up here, man. All the enemies have flaws and stuff, right? And this one, his flaw was that he likes to play games too much, I guess. And ultimately those are kind of the things that get to him, right? But Neji, like, clearly not as smart as Shikamaru, but he also demonstrated he's smart, he's capable, he knows how to like predict what his enemies are gonna do, how to adjust his strategy and stuff. The next 2 fights was Kiba and Akamaru versus the creepy twins that live inside of each other.
Yeah, so it's 2 heads. Initially, you just see 2 heads in a body, but then they split.
They're like Siamese twins that can just like
split and rejoin at will.
Weird.
Yeah.
And then Shikamaru fights the one female ninja,
the flute ninja.
But her fight I thought was really cool because she's a genjutsu user, and we don't actually get to see genjutsu users very much in this show. So she has like a flute that she plays, and it creates illusions. She had like these demon monsters that she would summon, and then she would control them with her flute and stuff.
By playing their flute, yeah.
Yeah, she was, I think, of all of those ninja, I think she was the coolest one.
And it was probably the one that Shikamaru would probably struggle with the most too, because it's not something that's readily available to, you know, figure out how you're controlling somebody by sound.
At one point, there's another enemy ninja that shows up named Kimimaru. He shows up, and his power is that he can, like, pull the bones out of his body, and he can generate bones. Naruto, his fight with Kimimaru doesn't last very long. He makes a bunch of shadow clones, and they all get destroyed. The twins, we didn't really explain what they do.
Because they can go inside of each other's bodies, they can also go inside of the enemy's bodies, and they can take it over.
So all of these fights are interesting because they all kind of like, all of the Leaf Ninja display, like, kind of, with the exception of Naruto, I guess, they display like a high level of kind of ingenuity in figuring out what to do and how to fight them. Kiba, he figures out that if, like, he harms himself, he'll harm the other guy inside of him. And the cool thing is, in all of these fights, we get to see them use new techniques too.
Kiba's was pretty great.
Where they turn into Cerberus.
A giant monster, and they have to strategically mark their target.
And then Shikamaru, he expands his shadow possession to, like, the shadow strangulation. Let's talk about the Shikamaru fight, because I really like the Shikamaru fight. So, like, we're watching it, and it was like a 20-step plan or something.
Yeah, he's thought so far ahead.
It's almost like every time he formulates a plan, it's like watching a Ninja Rube Goldberg machine. It's so awesome just, like, watching all the pieces come together. It's like, how is all of this gonna fit together? I don't get it.
Oh.
Because we can't figure it out. The ninjas that he's fighting, they can't figure it out either. And so they're like, you're gonna do this? How simple? Like, you're gonna die, it failed. And then all of a sudden 5 Sisters like, oh crap, am I dead? So jumping over to the Naruto and the Kimimaru fight, that doesn't last very long because somebody shows up.
A healed Rock Lee.
Now that they have a Hokage who's a medical ninja, she manages to heal him. So he shows up to fight Kimimaru so that Naruto can continue to go fight Sasuke. Now the thing about Lee is because he's still in recovery right now. So
he's still out 100%.
And so he puts up a good fight, but it really doesn't go well. He's pretty outmatched. Until he takes his medicine.
And he pulls out this big bottle and he just downs it all. And then you find out that he mistake his medicine for a big bottle of sake.
And it just so happens to be that Lee is a master of Drunken Fist. I'm glad they incorporated Drunken Fist into this because, like, I hadn't even thought of it until I saw this. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess Drunken Fist is like a style of taijutsu. And I just thought it was hilarious that Lee, this like really intense, hardworking character, is at his best when he's drunk, inebriated.
It's one of the more fun styles to watch.
I mean, think about it. Like, nobody has any hidden talents until they drink tequila. But again, these last 3 like kind of enemy ninjas are really strong and they end up kind of overpowering our hero ninjas. But then some people
unexpected allies.
It's the Sand Ninja.
And it was really funny is I was like, if the Sand Ninja shows up, there's 3 of them that are in trouble. There's 3 of them that are going to be helped. So one of them is going to go to each. And I actually guessed exactly which one was going to go.
That was really impressive that you figured out who went where. Kankuro goes to help Kiba. Tamari goes to help Shikamaru. And Gaara, of course, goes to help the man whose life he almost ended.
Kind of a fitting redemption for Gaara. Definitely a fitting redemption.
Yeah. Before, like, he was just this bloodthirsty, mindless animal, essentially, right?
Yeah, and Gaara's whole demeanor has changed. Like, even the way he carries himself, he just looks different.
He's doing something, like, for good now. And it's like, really changed him. I don't think I liked Kimimaru's demon transformation very much.
No, it looked really weird.
Kimimaru turns into a dinosaur in his demon form, and I'm like,
I guess maybe Bones. When you think about Bones, the first thing that you think of is a fossil?
I think of all the opponents Gaara had faced, that was the toughest one he'd faced. It was nice getting to see the Sand Ninja as, like, allies. And so we get to see them as, like, you know, the people they actually are. Gaara is also, like, a really, really cool character. He could have very easily been a character that just was like a one-off enemy and they dealt with him and that was it. So I like that they brought him back.
He's got a really good redemption arc too. This really filled in, kind of making up for what he did to Rock Lee, when they had first met and what he had done to the village.
So now we get to the big fight.
Everything leading up to the final showdown between Sasuke and Naruto.
Yeah, Sasuke versus Naruto. The final kiss. I mean, fight. Just kiss, you two, alright? Like, kiss like you mean it this time. Ah! I think they're just really, really deep in the closet right now, and they gotta figure it out. Wouldn't that be great if that's what this series was? Is like, it was just a big series about like learning to come to terms with your homosexuality. That'd be great. What a fight, right?
Yeah, no.
This is an epic fight, man.
Yeah, Sasuke gets, pretty much full control over his curse mark. Naruto pulls out all the stops.
We kind of get to see them both in kind of like their ultimate form. It almost felt like they were pulling their punches at first. Naruto definitely more so than Sasuke.
Sasuke, I think, even though he's saying that he doesn't care about hurting Naruto, that he wants to, I think, something deep down inside of him is keeping him from doing that.
Sasuke ends up like he gets to use a Sharingan to its fullest ability. Naruto gets to use his shadow clones in all sorts of creative, awesome ways, right? Like for once in his life, because most of the time his shadow clone doesn't do jack. But we get to see the ultimate. So we get the demon form for Sasuke, right? So Sasuke gets his crazy demon form. He's like a vampire winged bat thing, except his wings are like claw hands, and he's got like emo crazy hair going. But then we also get to see Naruto's his demon fox form. The demon fox has kind of seeped out before, but this is the first time it's kind of like seeped out this much.
Right.
And he gets like what's called the demon fox cloak. It's like an aura of chakra that just kind of surrounds his body in the shape of the fox, and like he moves around like the fox and everything, right, on all fours. Naruto is terrifying. He's demon
so
fox
fast.
Cloak. He's fast, he's strong, he's basically invulnerable because the cloak acts as a shield. And then eventually we kind of get to the big culmination of the fight right at the very end.
Which ironically ends the same way that their first fight did.
Chidori versus the Rasengan. Yeah. This is like the defining moment of like whose intentions are whose. Sasuke, he's going for it. And Naruto, I think he pulled back because he had like a moment of weakness where he was like, I can't do this to my friend. Yeah. I thought that was a really powerful moment. Just kind of that moment where they have to make that decision, like, are you willing to take this step in order to achieve your mission, whatever your goal is?
Mission fails, Sasuke gets away.
They all end up getting taken back to the village. Choji's in rough shape. Neiji's in rough shape. Honestly, the one that gets out of it the most unscathed is Shikamaru. That kind of shows you the genius of Shikamaru, is that like he went into this really, really tough fight where he was completely outmatched, really. Way outmatched. And he still came out pretty much unscathed. I felt bad for him because this was Shikamaru's first mission as a Chunin. And so he wanted it to be successful. But like this was an almost impossible mission from the get-go, right? Yeah. Tsunade is the new Hokage. Her decision-making is not great. She said that she couldn't afford to sacrifice any like higher level ninja because they were rebuilding at this time where they like were susceptible to attack. Like she did this and I'm like, you realize you're sending them basically on a suicide mission, right? You could spare a few people.
Even just sending one Jonin with them would have been way different.
I think this was the first big mission thing that like was a failure, like a massive failure, right?
Yeah, it was a pretty big
because at this point Sasuke's gone now. He's with Orochimaru.
They don't know where Orochimaru's at.
What was Team 7 is gone now. There's no more Team 7.
There's no more Team 7.
I think it's during like the end of this arc where Sakura finally decides to make herself useful.
Yeah. So she realizes that she doesn't really have a good skills in combat, but seeing Tsunade heal those that she cared about when she was visiting in the hospital, and seeing kind of the amazing thing that she did with Rock Lee inspired her to kind of follow the same path, which might actually make her useful.
Maybe, I hope so. Like I refuse to believe that they kept her useless this entire series just to get her to that point. That's such a dumb reason to make her that useless of a character the whole time. Like even her rival Ino has like a special like jutsu. She has the mind controlling thing, right? Yeah. What does Sakura have? Nothing. She's got a giant forehead. But yeah, so I like that they're finally going to make her useful. Anyway, that's kind of the end of this arc, and that's kind of the end of the main series, right? So Sasuke's off with Orochimaru, and at this point, like, what happens from here, we'll find out. So I think the series started really good. It did a really good job of developing this world and kind of building, everything about it. It went strong into the Chunin exams. It petered off for a little bit, kind of hit a low with the search for Tsunade, and then it came back strong. I think it finished on a very good note. I think the first 3 arcs up through kind of the death of the 3rd Hokage was the strongest parts of this series. It kind of ends on like a sloppier, weaker note, but by no means is it bad. It's still great.
Yeah, it's been slowly falling down.
So Naruto's a great show. We still have one more episode for you guys. It's not gonna be the most vitally important stuff we're talking about.
It's still Naruto.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us for this main part. Naruto, good stuff. If you haven't watched it already, go check it out. More thumbs up, all the thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. So we finally made it through the main story of the first Naruto series, all 5 of those main arcs. Really good stuff all around. The first 3 arcs are definitely the strongest of the 3, specifically the Chunin exams probably being the highlight. The second arc, that was great stuff. But even the Search for Tsunade and the Sasuke rescue mission were really good stuff too. They had some inconsistencies about them and some kind of flaws, but really awesome stuff. So, as always, if you enjoy this content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. You can also head over to Twitter and to Facebook and follow me on there. And once again, if you want to know your flicks, you know where to click. Have a good time, everybody. I will see you all next time for the silly last final part of Naruto November.